Hello, hello, hello. This is Pastor Jay of Walk in Truth Radio Network. And today's scripture, this is an encouraging word, but it's a real word. Let your peace return. It's okay for your peace to return back to you. And we're going to come out of Matthew chapter 10. And again, I want you to read it for yourself and see what you come up with because God is trying to tell us something in this narrative where he gives the disciples authority and responsibility to go help people. In chapter 10, he starts off with saying that he called his 12 to them, and then he gave them this authority and this power to heal the sick and take care of those who are afflicted. So can you imagine you've been given power to go out and take care of a certain group of people? He told them not to go to the Gentiles, but go to the lost sheep of Israel. Part of him trying to win over and get them to realize their king had come. So he gave them power, his disciples, his students, the power to go help the lost sheep of Israel. And I find it quite fascinating when we think about that. It's funny, like when you go try to help people, you would think they'd be open to receive because you're about to do something for them that they can't do for themselves. And Jesus gave them that power, that authority, that responsibility. And then he also gave them instructions because he knew that even though that they were assigned to help, there would be some people, a town, a house, a family that would not receive the help, would not humble themselves to hear the message and receive the help, to receive the great gift of healing and reconciliation. And then in chapter 10, we're going to go all the way down to verse 12 because we don't want to be long. It says, as you enter the house, greet it. And if the house is worthy, let your peace come upon it. But if it is not worthy, let your peace return to you. So if you come into a house or a village or a town and you find it worthy, and don't think of being qualified because the worthiness is more of will they receive you? Will they show you hospitality? Will they be willing to listen to what you have to say? And it goes on to say if they don't want to hear your words, let your peace return to you. So if you go into a house and they receive you, stay there and let your peace be upon that house. So wherever you are, there is peace. But if you go somewhere and you find out as you're staying among them that they're not receiving you, let your peace return to you. Now, Jesus pronounces a curse on them at the end, but I want you to focus on this part. Obviously, it is okay that when you come to try to help someone and they don't receive you, let your peace return to you. See, the issue is not whether you want to help them, but are they willing to receive you? And then your reaction to that should not be anger, it should not be upset. Let your peace return to you and let God judge them. That is so revolutionary. I want to submit to you. A lot of times, God puts us in situations to be rejected. And what he's telling them is how you handle rejection is let your peace return and maintain and come back to you. Don't let it just dissipate. Sorry for my dog barking. Don't let it dissipate. Let it return to you. Don't spend a whole bunch of time trying to figure it out, trying to work it out, trying to get them to believe, even though you know what you have for them is good and profitable for them. But sometimes you just got to let people go. You got to let people go on about their business and let that peace return to you. You know, that's what you have to do. You can't sit there and fight them. You can't sit there and argue with them, but leave and let your peace return to you. And then let God deal with them. Sometimes you realize that some people come to help you that you didn't understand that God is sending your way, that once they leave and whatever comes down upon you, and you see other people getting the benefit of those people or that person, then you realize that you had a messenger from God in your life and that they came to help you. but you couldn't see past your prejudice. You couldn't see past your preference. You couldn't see past your 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 personal piety because they didn't look like you. They didn't talk like you. They came with something very new to you, very foreign to you, but you needed help. But for those who are called to give help to others, I want to encourage you. Always stay full of joy. Always stay full of peace and be willing to give that peace to the house, to the people that you come to serve. And again, when you're rejected, and if you're of God, you're going to be rejected. Because why would Jesus tell them that if that was not a possibility and reality, then let your peace return to you? And you go into somebody else who will receive it. There'll be those that reject it, and there are those that will receive it. And let me tell you, if you're really anointed, if you really have power, you're going to have more people reject you than receive you because the world doesn't want the peace, the healing, and the reconciliation that you are bringing by being committed, accountable, responsible. This is not a genie. This is not a rub your belly program. This is the reality of God. And God brings people in our lives to show us the way and be the light. But you can show the light. But if they still decide to walk in darkness, like John says in 3:19, men prefer darkness rather than light because their deeds are evil. If their preference is darkness, all you could do is present the peace and the light to them. But don't you get upset because they don't receive it. I know you want them to, and you may go through this with family members. I know you want them to because they are some dire straits. They can't even see that they're in darkness. But it's not your job to make them see. It's your job to show them the light. And if they reject you, let your peace return. This is Pastor Jay of Walk Truth Radio Network. I always want you to be encouraged, blessed, and at peace. Remember, walk in the truth of the Lord, and it's okay. Don't get discouraged. Let your peace return to you. Please do me a favor. I want you to hit the like button on YouTube and on Facebook, and I want you to share. And if by chance, subscribe and follow on our Walk Truth Radio Network page on Facebook, Walk of Truth Christian Fellowship Church on Facebook, or I have a few slots for friends on Facebook. But go to the YouTube page and subscribe, like, and share. You enjoy the rest of your weekend. And just think about that. Jesus would say, let your peace return if you are not going to be rejected. Have a great weekend. Peace.